gonna change the world, change the world, change the world, yeah.
Welcome to Celebrate Transformation. My name is Sally Colon-Petree, and I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Mr. Tim Storey. Hello, Tim.
Tim Storey. Is that what you said?
Yes.
How long have we been friends? Over 20 years.
Over 20 years for sure. Yeah. And we're dressing alike now. I love it.
Yeah. And so people are beginning to talk about this, Sally.
Yeah.
About how we dress alike and finish each other's sentences. And yet we're just friends all these years.
Yeah, all these years. So we do have a guest, and I'm going to let you introduce them. But first, I wanted to say thank you to our amazing sponsor,
Yes.
Tomorrowland Productions. It's a production company here locally in Beverly Hills, California, that's putting out some really amazing content, movies, television shows, and all kinds of great entertainment. So thank you, Tomorrowland Productions, for sponsoring us today.
Okay. So I'm gonna read the pronunciation of this last name. So it is Dr. Mcguicken. Pretty close, right?
Close. Mcguicken.
Okay. But it's coming from where? Afrikaans?
No, that's Irish.
Mcguicken.
I have an Irish father. Yeah.
Yes. So this is Dr. Israel. And that wonderful woman next to him is his wife, Rebecca Faith, who is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And so let me give you Dr. Israel the proper introduction, Sally. Okay. So he has worked with the speaking industry for well over 37 years. Yeah, he's been to many different continents, traveled to more nations than me, 85 nations of the world. And he is a leader of leaders, speaks to crowds as high as 150,000 people at one time. Okay. And he has his own coaching company. He is a mentor of mentors, and he has children and grandchildren, and just a wonderful man. And I consider him a really good friend. And Rebecca Faith has been married to this wonderful man next to her for a long time. I won't read the exact number of years, but it's been a long time. And she is a psalmist. She is a minister. She is a speaker. She is a life coach. She is a businesswoman. And she has sang in stadiums literally all over the world. And it is a privilege to have you on Celebrate Transformation today.
Yes.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you. That's our honor and privilege. Thank
Okay.
you.
So one of the things, and is it okay if I just call you Dr. Israel?
Sure. Call me Israel. That's fine too.
Okay. All right. So Dr. Israel, I want to just talk a little bit about leadership to start with. Okay. Is that I feel like we are a world in need of leadership.
Absolutely.
A world in need of leadership. And where do you feel like this idea of leadership has almost been watered down through the years, where your word is really not your word? And you say you'll show up at 7:30, but you come at 8:15.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me a little bit about watered down leadership.
Well, I think it's become a populace, the term. I remember back in the day, if I'd have an event and I'd say an event for followers, nobody would come.
Mm-hmm.
If I said I'm having an event for leaders, everybody pitched up. Because everybody wants to be a leader.
All right.
And so you wanted to fill a room, have it for leaders, and everybody would come. But I think it's been, as you say, very diluted. And there's no skill set that has been learned or earned in their leadership following. And I would say, especially with training horses, we like to have our horses follow us. So without a rope, without a halter, just at liberty, that horse needs to follow me. And if I turn around and I see the horse is following, I'm its leader.
Yes.
But if that horse has wandered off, I'm not its leader. And so the point is, if I turn around today and look around and say, who's following me? And there's nobody there, I'm not a leader. But they become shepherds these days. They're shepherding and biting the heels of people to get them, to go somewhere. So I think it's a misunderstanding of the term and the purpose of leadership.
So, Sally, one of the things that you don't know as much about, but I'm around them and they're my friends, they have horses and they talk a lot about leadership having to do with horses.
Right.
Mm.
And Rebecca, you could answer that. When did that start?
He has loved horses forever and a day. And I think it hurts his heart that I don't love them as much as he loves them. And I don't know why God has given me this natural gift of being able to ride and not the passion to go with it. But this man is passionate about horses, and, you know, he's able to extract amazingly from what he knows about horses and how to have a horse follow you because they trust you, not because you're, you know, beating them into submission, and kind of extract those principles and teach them in leadership. So on that side, it's been intriguing to watch him work with horses and watch this transformation in 30 minutes. I've literally watched from a wild horse that people aren't able to handle, and they're like, good luck. And they put him in the round pen with this horse, and 30 minutes later, this horse is following him like a dog.
Wow.
Wow. I have a question just listening to that. So what are your techniques with horses that you also use with humans?
Great question.
Well, I think it comes down to the very basic principle that every person, human, needs to belong. Every mind needs a hero.
So good.
A horse needs a herd, and a horse needs an alpha or matriarch. And so in the early stages of the horse's life in the wild, it's a dangerous area. It's a prey animal. It's a flight animal, fight and flight. And so when the baby colt does something wrong, mom, the mare, kicks out the baby out of the community, the herd. And then that baby asks 4 questions. Can I come in? Can I come in? Can I come in? Can I come in, please? And only then does the mom say, go ahead, come in. And that horse will then follow forever. And so for me in leadership, I want to create a community. I want to create a culture. And I want people to want to be there, not have to be there. And I think that's where religion has so damaged us as people, because we've been forced to out of fear and not out of trust and confidence. And so for me, that's the major issue where I want to shift people's lives from they have to they are allowed to.
Yes, that's so good. I want to add something to that. So you're saying to get to a place where people want to be there, but then taking it a step further, wanting to stay there.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I think as emotional people, you know, we were talking about dating on the show earlier. You know, it's very easy for us to get emotionally involved in something and want to be there because it feels good, but really what keeps us there? Right. And I think that's where good leadership and someone who's actually empowering you, inspiring you, rather than just going, you know, like I'm thinking about employers, rather than somebody just being like, well, I pay you to do that. Instead of having, you know, the mindset of, I'm so glad you're here because without you, I wouldn't have a business, you know? And I think I would like to go there for a second. Maybe Tim or Dr. Israel can say something about that. I posted something the other day on Instagram about employers and how, you know, their mindset should change towards their employees. And it becomes more of not a partnership, but giving to your employee and making them want to stay. Can you maybe say a little bit about that?
I'd like Dr. Israel to do it because it's actually a question I wrote down.
Oh, good.
Is that leadership in the home and in the company?
Yeah.
Because I have children, Sally has children, you two have children. But let's start with Sally's question about leadership within the company in your business.
Absolutely. And I think that's the culture we're talking about, the environment.
Yeah.
But the difference between a slave or a son there's a big difference, and a lot of companies have the framework of thought that it's about slavery.
Yeah.
It may be paid slavery, but it's still slavery. You give hours, you do your job, and if I don't like you, out the door, and you always have it hanging over your head.
Yes.
Wow.
Whereas a son has the promise of inheritance. And the promise of inheritance is all good things, such as you're going to excel, you're going to grow, you're going to exceed, you're going to surpass. You're going to be better than I am.
So,
I have a 21-year-old son. He drives a Porsche. I bought it for him for his 18th birthday.
nice.
Because I wanted him to go further than I ever went before I went there. And so that's the mindset of a leader when he looks at it as a family as opposed to slavery. And people want to belong to a family that don't want to belong to an organization.
Ah.
Wow.
I think there's a key right there.
That
And
is
so the changing of the culture of a company is imperative to longevity, not only in the company, but the staff that are working in that company. They want to be there. My children don't want to leave home. I'm trying to bribe them to leave home now.
Not if you're buying them a Porsche. I wouldn't leave either.
Right, well, I try not to bribe them, but but they want to love. Have to love that environment.
Yeah.
And an environment including a relationship with the leader.
Okay, I have a question, because we're living in a society where people love to question authority. So, Sally and I talk a lot about this, that, when we were kids, we just did not talk back to our parents. And part of it is the Latin side of us is that just did not happen. Right, Sally?
Oh, you get a chancleta over the head.
A shoe.
Yeah.
But today they want to maybe talk back,
Yeah.
give an attitude, roll their eyes. So either to Dr. Israel or to Rebecca, how do we work with our children to where we make leadership something that they should be drawn to rather than push away?
Right.
So good.
Want to go there?
That's an excellent question, and one that I've been busy with, because as the kids are growing, I've got stepchildren, and then we have a 4-year-old together. And so there's a lot of different stages in this house. And his parents live with us as well. And so we literally have 3 generations living together. And so there's a lot of dynamics, even beyond what we feel for the kids and how they should act. The grandparents are even more so like, you don't talk like that. You don't, and so all living together can be interesting. I'll use that word. But for me, it comes back to that first question you asked about diluted leadership. I feel like as the leaders of the house, whether it's the parents or the grandparents raising their grandchildren, it starts with you.
Yeah.
The first leader that you ever are going to be is a leader of your life. And what we've seen, I believe, is a reflection in the world of the decomposed leadership within ourselves. We don't keep our word to ourselves anymore. We're full of big talk, big promises. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. We don't even believe ourselves anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And so we're not leading ourselves effectively. We're not being integral to our own word to ourselves. And our kids see all of that. They see it all. They see, in parenting, more is caught than is taught. Right.
Oh, wow. I like that.
4-year-old. I'm like, who taught you that?
Yeah.
Who taught you that? But she caught it. Oh, yes, she did. She caught it from somebody or some show or something. And so you see how much is learned that was never taught.
Great answers.
Okay.
Great answers.
Let's say that one more time. What is caught? Say that again?
So much more is caught
than taught. Wow.
So
that is
good.
so good.
Great answers.
Yes, I love that.
Okay, so Sally, you're going to love this, because Sally is single.
Yes, I am.
And they come from everywhere. Sally has dated some very well-known people. We won't talk about them.
No.
But at one time, she dated the #1 Christian artist in the world. Okay.
Gets no credit right now.
But we won't get into that either.
No, please no.
Okay, so I want to ask Rebecca, what is it like? I have it written right here. Living with a lion. That's a lion. Like, see, I like safaris because they spend a lot of time in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And Rebecca lived there 7 years at one time. Israel, you were there for how many years?
I grew up there.
Mm-hmm. He's
Yeah.
from there.
Born and raised, 20-something years full time.
Wow.
Okay. So Sally, have you been on a safari?
Yes, I have. I've been to Africa. I love it.
Oh, that's right. You shot a whole doggone documentary over there.
I shot a whole documentary over there. Yeah.
Okay. So when you see the male lion and you just see him moving around.
Yeah.
Rebecca, what's it like living with a lion?
I was just
Oh boy.
I was just having this conversation with a client this week who lives with a lion and is asking me, how do I deal with this?
I'm curious of the answer.
I know. Do we need a censor? Do we need a beep? Is this going to be okay?
I just need a moment to pray first.
Okay. Girl.
I think number one, he said something to me when we were first married that really, it hit home for me and helped me understand kind of what I was dealing with here, that I didn't know I was getting into when we got married. And he said this, he said, everybody wants the result of my life. Everybody wants the fruit of a good leader, but nobody wants to live with a good leader.
Wow.
Wow.
Everybody wants what I have until they got to walk with me. You don't get what I have without being who I am.
Wow.
That's
Sally,
really
that's
good.
powerful.
That's so
So
good.
we want the fruit of a good leader, but when we walk with that good leader and they start to input or they start to correct something, we're like, hey, calm down, be nice. Can't you be nicer? I think my first piece of advice to him was, because we're coaches and we ask each other questions all the time. Hey, what can I do better? How can I grow? What am I, where are my weaknesses? What can I improve on? And we have to do it when we're in the right state.
Yeah, I was going to say that's very explosive. Yeah.
Don't be asking when you mad at each other. But we have these kind of reflective times where we're both feeling good. We're secure in our relationship. We're both feeling good personally. And so we'll ask. And my first thing to him was, you're not balanced. Like, you need more balance.
Oh,
He was like,
okay.
that's like a swear word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I learned after living with him now for over a decade that I finally get more of what I didn't get when I was just walking in going, I love your fruit, but can I change the process? And he's like, you don't get the fruit without the process.
Ooh. Wait, so I want to know what Dr. Israel's response was when you said you don't have the balance.
Me too.
Yeah. I don't like balance. I don't want to be average, mediocre. I don't want to be normal. I want to be exceptional. I want to be surpassing. And that's going to take a lot of imbalance, so to speak, in certain areas of my life. It's going to take some extreme discipline.
Wow.
It's going to take some honesty and integrity where no is no. And so, and let's not play games.
Right.
So, if you're going to sit in the boardroom and negotiate at a table, let's not play games.
Right.
And she comes out of the Amish Mennonite.
Oh my God. I was going to ask where you're from. Yeah.
Do not offend.
Ooh, no confrontation.
Not face to face.
Wow.
We'll do it behind the back, but not face to face.
Yeah.
If I don't like you, I'm going to tell you. I'm not playing games. I'm not sure. If I liked him, if I said it to him, I like you. That's not because he's famous.
Yeah.
Because I've met too many of those people, right?
Yeah.
I'm either going to like you or I don't. And so I don't want to be balanced. And so I said, that's never going to happen.
No.
That's never. However, I did promise her when we got married that if somebody needed to change in the relationship, I would do the changing. But I said that too easy because I discovered that's harder.
Yeah.
Either not. But
Hey, but Sally, let me say this about him, though. He's very romantic.
I love that.
Very romantic. No. He's a great
Yeah.
husband.
There we
Like,
go. There we go.
He's romantic. Like he carries her things. I watch all these little details. So
Mhm.
he's a big lion, but he's romantic.
Do you have any brothers that are single? Uncles?
Sean Connery. Michael Sean Connery.
Yeah. Hey, Sally, what goes through your mind though when he talks about that? Because he makes some good points about this idea that so many women are watching right now.
Yeah.
And they see these leaders that they want.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll see even like a famous minister, or they'll see like a Jeff Bezos, or they see different people.
Yeah.
But do they really want all the components of the leader? What was going through your mind?
Honestly, for me, and I know a lot of people would be like, what? Is that real? I am, I'm a leader, and I'm a director. That's what I do for a living. I direct
Very
movies.
strong leader.
Very strong leader. But I will tell you, for some reason, something that was instilled in me, maybe just, my mom, however that was, if I met a guy who was a leader and a strong leader and an inspirational leader, I would come under that. I really would. And it's something that I want. I really do. I want a lion or tiger, right?
Lion.
Okay.
Sally.
I want a lion. I do. And I'm not afraid of it. And I think, I wish that more men would rise up to that, because I think that women, we want to be led, but there's a way to do it. Right.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times we get a bad rap, strong women, because, we get with these men that don't know how to be leaders. So then we feel like we have to rise up to that position. And it's not where I want to be. And it's not where women should be. I think there should be an equal thing. But I do think there's something about having one strong leader, right? We're both leaders, but one strong leader that's a little bit stronger that can kind of lead us in the right path. So I'm looking, and
let me say that about this. Rebecca is a champion. She has to be a champion of her own cause, as opposed to being a champion of my cause.
I love that.
I think two healthy, strong individuals,
yes,
are better than one strong and one weak.
I agree.
So good.
I don't think that works. And I think marriage, it's an institution for the believer. It's a covenant thing, right? Between a God and two people. And God doesn't make covenant with non-believers. So that's my philosophy. So, but I think marriage is all about purpose.
Right.
It's not about romance.
Yeah.
I think romance is a reward.
That's good.
But I think going into marriage, look for the purposed partnership. Yeah. So jointed for purpose. We've got to be jointed for purpose.
I'm writing that down.
I know. I love it. I have no pen, but send me the notes when you're done.
Yeah. So for me, I know that Rebecca and I are purposed together.
Yes.
Okay.
So there are things where she shines all on her own, and I cannot sing to save anyone. She has strengths, she has capacity, she has tolerances that I don't have.
Yes.
As a life coach, she excels.
Oh yeah, she's fantastic.
So for me, I got to recognize those strengths, celebrate those strengths.
Yeah.
Encourage her, inspire her, and lead her in her strengths,
so
as
good.
opposed to leading her in my strengths.
Right.
And I think that for me is a key in successful marriage.
Yeah.
But it begins in the beginning, discovering that purpose.
Yes.
And I take that to all relationships.
Yes.
What is the purpose of this relationship? Because if you join it for purpose, you reproduce.
Right.
And we want to reproduce. At the end of the day, this marriage has to reproduce something.
So
and
good.
hopefully it's doing that in the earth, and hopefully it'll get better and stronger. But for me, that's what, for yourself, Sally, such a strong leader, such a strong woman, which is to be very, very celebrated. And I'm thankful that there's emerging in the earth strong women, strong leaders, and we need more of it. But so often the men are weak and insecure, and you want to stay away from that type.
Yeah, definitely.
They'll shut you down as soon as I can.
Good.
I'm planning on
Good
that.
insight. Okay, let me do a little commercial. So you are watching Celebrate Transformation. Tim Storey, Sally Colon-Petree. We have Dr. Israel and Rebecca on today. And so the best way, Dr. Israel, will put all the information in later, but what is the best website to find you?
All right, that'll be drisraelmcguicken.com.
Okay, and we will put that in. And then tell us the services that you guys are offering. I know you do leadership coaching, life coaching, you speak. Give us a little bit of that.
Right. Well, our big sell, or our confidence sell that we do, that I think is very effective in this period of time, is a coaching package, which includes what we call Life by Design, which is a self-discovery course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We then certify coaches.
Mm-hmm.
When they get certified, they unlock a door where they can teach our courses.
Good.
Yeah.
So they go straight into a little business. Then they do business builders, where we do a certification for business coaches.
Okay.
And then we do legacy training, which is leadership coaching. And at that point, they get to certify coaches.
Okay.
And so not only are they growing in their self-development, but they're also stepping into business and making money in this time. So that's our big sell that we're doing right now.
And then, so the website that you gave, is that also Rebecca? That's her information as well, or does she have her own website?
I have my own. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is that?
TheRebeccaFaith.com.
Okay. And then is that also life coaching, and what's your platform?
Well, to me, I'm a dramatic communicator. So I thought I was going to be like in musical theater for my whole life.
Okay.
And then I went into ministry, and, but now I'm using all arts, visual, sound, all of that, music, singing, to communicate the same message. And that message is all about purpose, finding purpose, getting clear on who you are, so you are clear on what to do with your life.
Right.
And so for me, I focus more on the life coaching side, group coaching. I go through the group coaching courses. So I'm doing one this Saturday called Life by Design. All of these different things, where he's more on the executive business side and the certifying side. And so that's, we're different, but we're on that same railroad track, going the same direction.
Love that.
Yeah.
Remember the movie where I think it was Tom Cruise, and he was like, "You complete me."
Yes.
So that's something that I've, like, as my life transformed, I was like, we really need to get to a place in our lives where we don't need someone else to complete us, right? So it's that when people say, I'm 50%, I need someone else to complete me or make me 100%. Really, it's what we're saying is, I want to be 100%, and I want to bring my 100% to your 100%, right? So we're, in a sense, I know I'm going to go off track for a second, but there's a sense of, when people break up or something happens in their life, they immediately it's uncomfortable. They immediately want to feel better, right? Mm-hmm. So they end up taking all of their stuff into the next relationship, not knowing that it's following you. Your stuff is following you. It's like what Tim was saying with the red wagon. And really, you gotta kind of unravel some of that stuff and let it go. And then so your wagon's almost empty, and you only bring the good stuff into the next relationship.
Right.
I like that. So Dr. Israel, we have 2 more minutes. Why don't you take about a minute and a half, and just lift the people up? We're in the middle of COVID-19, and you are a great thinker. Speak to the people.
Well, I think it's, COVID has been an interesting time, obviously. Some it's been depressing. There's been loss. For some, it's been good. It's helped them change the narrative of their lives. Mm-hmm. But I think for all of us, it's presented itself an opportunity. And, I said before you an open door. In the original, I said before you an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And so we've been given this amazing opportunity to reset our lives, redesign our lives. And it doesn't matter if nothing returns to normal, because we've reset and redesigned.
Wow.
But I think it's about having a postured mindset, a forward-thinking mindset, where you begin to see into your tomorrow, to 21, instead of looking at 2020, and beginning to dig the well now that you will drink from in 21.
Love that.
So I am more than a conqueror. That word hupanakeo means that I'm surpassing in my victory. I'm excelling in my victory. I'm extraordinary. So that's a framework. So we've got to have a postured framework that energizes us to get to the next place. Not only to see it, but to be energized. So there's a lot about elevating your emotion in these days. Sitting like this, put on the Superman look, the Superman stance, stretch out. That even increases your testosterone, by the way. It elevates. And so I really think it's time that the individual out there that's watching this program understands that it's on them to elevate their emotion so that they can posture themselves in their mindset for a fantastic tomorrow.
So good.
Hey, Sally's going to wrap us up.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Israel and Rebecca, for being on the
Thank you.
show. We so appreciate you, and thank you all for watching. And we just want to say thank you to our sponsor, Tomorrowland Productions. It's a production company here in Beverly Hills that's putting on some really great programming, movies, television shows. And we just want to thank you all for joining us. And remember, next week we're back. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Jesus Daily. And follow all of us on Instagram or on the website. All the information is below. And we will see you next time on Celebrate Transformation. Thank you guys so much for joining us.